Grand Rising Curvies. Hi, I'm in here today. I'm just in here cleaning up and I'm getting ready to twist my hair and whatnot. But I woke up this morning to the news that a Blackhawk helicopter appears to have intentionally rammed into a passenger airplane. And it seems like it's intentional because, I mean, when you see on the movies, the helicopters have nothing but a huge ass window in front of them. And they have eyeballs so they can see. And airplanes are much larger than helicopters. So, how did a Black Hawk military helicopter not see a passenger plane? And then when they released the manifest of the passengers, there was Russians on the plane, and now the 45 is blaming Biden and DEI for the Black Hawk pilots, maybe because the plane is called Black. So he's blaming DEI for the Black Hawk pilots ramming into a commercial plane. So DEI is to blame and Biden is to blame. Not the fact that last week he allegedly, 45 allegedly got rid of various departments, including the Department of Transportation. Let me see. Um, let's see. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but Department of Transportation was one of the departments. Let's ask Google real quick. Oh, here it goes. What department heads did Trump get rid of in the last week? Did any of them have to do with transportation? Okay. Okay. Okay, yep, 2 hours ago. So look, all this stuff is connected. Hey, mademoiselle. So a Black Hawk military plane, air helicopter, crashes into a commercial air flight full of regular schmegular passengers. And it looked like it rammed it. Like it didn't look like it moved at all. It was on a collision course and it did not stray. It went straight into a huge ass plane. Okay. So, of course, on level 8, that shit looks like it's on purpose. But when you couple that with the fact that ba, 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 ba. So he fired the transportation secretary last week, 45. Fired the transportation secretary last week. So the guy that had been there is gone. And you know how everybody he decided to hire has zero experience in any of the fields that he's putting them in. Zero experience for any of these offices, right? So last week he fires the experienced transportation secretary, and then he installed Sean Duffy, I don't know who that is, as the transportation secretary. And his first day on the job, we have Black Hawk helicopters appearing to intentionally fly into passenger planes. And this is who he picked, who's in charge of the shit. Okay. So then we have April Ryan. I don't know if you know who April Ryan is. So Duffy is a former reality television star who served as for 8 years in the House from Wisconsin, no experience in transportation or managing a large government agency. He leapt into the job by heading to the airport and participating in news conferences. They believe there's no survivors. Yeah, this is horrible. But this is what happens when you let the insane asylum people be in charge of the insane asylum. This is what happens. So let's see. It's a catastrophe. It is. 45 did a statement 2 hours after the crash, and he said he's monitoring the situation. And we see the footage. It's a crystal clear night. There's not a cloud in the sky. The only thing you see is the lights of other fucking planes and airborne objects. That's the only thing you see. Okay? So this has a lot more questions than answers. It could be part of the chaos that they're trying to instill. Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? Because they have big ass windows and eyeballs, and if you see something, then you avert something. And I don't think you need to be told not to crash into a passenger plane. I don't know. I've never been a pilot, but I would bet that if I too was going to blow up, that I would avert hitting something that has other life forms on it. And I seen the maneuvers. Hey, I used to watch Magnum PI. Him and the TC used to fly all around freaking Hawaii on TC's helicopter, and TC could maneuver in any situation to avoid hidden shit. But these Blackhawk pilots couldn't. Okay. So that's what happened. And then 45 got up and blamed. You know what he blamed? Biden. Isn't that just like the new White House resident to blame the old White House resident for all of the problems? Oh, it's all the last person's fault, but you were going to do better than the last person, and everything was, and you was the answer to the last person. But then things happen, and it's still the last person's fault. But you got rid of everybody that had to do with the last person. Okay, I get it. But April Ryan used to be the black lady at the White House Press pool, and she would challenge 45 on a regular. And so she resigned right before he took office again, but it doesn't stop her from talking. So, what we're going to do is listen to what she has to say about this, because she's home with the whatever it is she got. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know. I hope you can hear me. So, this is April Ryan, and she's talking about the Trump press conference and the attack that he considers. He said that this happened because of DEI. Okay. I'm telling you, because the helicopter is named Black, it triggers him to be like, oh, the helicopter was woke. Obviously, they would sleep behind the wheel. But in his limited mind, the helicopter's woke. And this must be a DEI problem because the word Black is involved. It doesn't make any sense to me. But let's listen to April Ryan. She's going to have some guests come on. Let me see so I could see the guest and her. Right about there. Is that good for us? Yes. And now we're going to let it play. So this is April Ryan.
It's 12:13 Eastern, and we just heard from the President of the United States, the 47th President of the United States. Many people are like, is it No, I was not in the room because I'm home with the flu. I tested positive after being in that room the other day. I will be wearing a mask. But like many of you who watched, I was shocked, but I reached out to a couple of people, and one of them I'm waiting for us to join. Hello, Major. Love you more, and I'm taking care of myself, but I'm waiting for the person who's supposed to come on. I think that's them now. The person who's supposed to come on. What you need to do is when you...
Oh my God, Mademoiselle. So I see your 3 comments I see your 3 comments in my actual studio here. So you said hello, and then your second comment is, I wouldn't doubt if Elon Musk and him were behind the plane crash. Elon Musk is trying to get control of everything and gain control over people and the world, satellite, space, cars, and now aviation. That comment does not appear on my live stream for the thing. Isn't that interesting? But then your other comment, yes, appears. And then your comment that says they're going to use Black people as their scapegoat for everything. I told you it's a phenomenon where you look around and you look for the nearest Black thing and you blame that. It's a phenomenon in our reality TV and in real life. It mimics it. And that's why I feel like the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes against the Black community adds to it en masse. So I'm not with that shit. So yep, they're going to use them as scapegoats. These people are sick and twisted. They may take away birthright citizenship from Black people when none of them are legal. Yeah, they can try. They can try. They should start with Melania though. Interesting. They have been censoring me everywhere. I speak truth. Yeah, look, none of those comments popped up. No comments other than one word from you. Try just doing one word like uh okay or something like that. But you see how only your hello and your yes are showing up. Me showed up. Oh my God, Mademoiselle, they are on your ass, girl. Ooh, they got your number on the digital plantation. They are not letting your words get off. I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. Look, it lets they are come through. Oh my God. I know exactly how you feel. The overseers on this digital plantation be on my ass, girl. They be on my ass. I'm like, can a bitch live? They're like, you can, but we not gonna let you get heard. We not gonna let you say nothing. We don't want you to say. Anyway, but meanwhile, he can say all the people are freaking harmful. The immigrants are this, the immigrants are that. And I mean, there's a lot more immigrants than the Hispanics and Black people. What about the Chinese immigrants? Are they getting rounded up by ICE? What about the Russian immigrants? What about the Italian immigrants? What about the Irish immigrants? What about the German immigrants? What about the name a insert caucus here immigrant? What about them? Where's their ICE ride? So this is very discriminatory against melanin in particular. That's what the attack is on melanin. And the worst part about it is that you attack us all you want, but we're survivors. Our melanin is literally a UV blocker, bitch. Don't be mad. Spray tan. Yeah, you got to start a Patreon because they are on your ass. If it's over, look, they let the Native American comment up, but your actual paragraphs, I'm not sure what words in those were triggers because I don't have any of those words in my censorship. So I'm not sure. YouTube is deciding to censor the Elon Musk statement and the birthright citizenship statement. I guess I don't know, but let's get back to April Ryan. That's scary. That's scary. So the president's the only one that can do what he wants and get away with it in America. Really? Okay, world. Now God knows what God is doing. That's what they say. And then I saw this really religious lady say, God is ordering Trump's steps. That's a scary thought because a lot of God believing people are getting hurt. So I'm like, I'm back to we need to be praying to the right one. That's where I am. You better be praying to the right God by name because I don't know if white Jesus is listening, honestly. I've been calling for Yahusha and Yahweh. Honestly, there was no J. There wasn't a fucking J. Couldn't have possibly been Jesus if there wasn't even a J invented at the time. Okay? Better be calling out to the right one. What a lie. Counterfeit religion in effect. Yep. Oh, look, they didn't let that comment up either. No way. They didn't let your freedom of speech comment, and they didn't let counterfeit religion up. Oh my God. I am highly censored over here. I do not like that. I do not like that, Sam. I am. You're not keeping the world a safe place by not letting us finish a fucking thought. An independent thought is what creates a free America. Believe it. Anyway, allegedly. Here's April Ryan.
Come on and see me. You press request to get on. This is a big conversation that we're getting ready to have. And meanwhile, let me see, I'm going back. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I do have a fan base, but I don't have fan base on my phone right now. I got a new phone and I have some things to work out. But yeah, you should be able to find larger curves on fan base. And I actually, when fan base first came out, I was on the digital plantation. I was on the digital plantation TikTok where I was heavily censored, heavily censored. And so I had already been off TikTok for before this whole ban thing. I was like on a F TikTok tip. Um, and I had migrated all of my TikTok stuff to Fanbase when they had that feature available at first. And so it should be over there. Larger Curves, LRGA Curves on Fanbase. Yes. But here we go.
First responders came and helped. And we do pause, but when you pause, what happens? You see the blame being placed disproportionately in the wrong place. And it just wasn't right. Hold on, guys. My guest is coming on. I got to help him get on. He's a major person who speaks truth to power. And hold on. I'm on another device trying to get my guest on because we talk. And I've never heard them as solemn and calm as I heard just now. Hold on, guys. I'm getting my guest on. I'm going to help them get on. Okay. This person worked for the late Shirley Chisholm, and this person also ran for president. This person is very well versed in issues of politics, diversity, and more. Hold on one second.
Okay, you guys. We're going to pivot because this just dropped. I don't even really fuck with her, but let's do this real quick. This just dropped 3 minutes ago.
Are you ready for a Sweet 16?
Welcome back to Atlanta, baby.
It's a whole new ATL.
But trust us, the shade is still shade.
And the tea is just as piping hot, if not hotter.
Okay.
The season 16 trailer starts in 3, 2, 1. Cinderella gotta wake the hell up. Soft life is over. You are a low-down, dirty individual. You can be the sweetest peach in the orchard, but not everybody can handle the juice.
Okay, so this is copyright disclaimer. Shout out. I'm going to get struck for this. They're going to make me edit this out most likely. So I'm just going to be quiet while it plays so that when I edit it, you guys didn't miss any of my words. Copyright disclaimer, fair use right now.
This season on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hey! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whatever you would like. I'm back, baby! Round of applause!
Ice cream, you can put that royalty flag.
I played the underdog when I can outshine the best of them. I'm serving face, I'm serving body, I'm a Barbie. Oh, yes, you have a sex in the engine?
Put your leg down. Not too much.
People would describe me as a good time. A little spicy, a little feisty. You were trolling me, bitch. Bitch, I was giving you what you was coming for.
I am married to NBA legend Charles Oakley. Let me make this clear. I'm married to a celebrity. My DMs are flooded. Woo! I'm twirling on my haters. It's all about the money. We want to party. Let's go. And it don't have to be a twerk. I mean, I can twerk. Cause it's all about the money, money. What the haters? You could find me
The best thing about girls trips is the camaraderie.
You know what a point of reference is?
She cut me off, Portia.
You know, we just put a button in this because we have the commenters to come in.
This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Read the
I'm
room.
reading the room.
You're not. You should be ready whenever.
Whoa.
Because you already know it's coming.
Dennis is serving as my executive producer.
Dennis?
Yes.
You think I'm banging who?
Yes or no? So who is this hoe?
Britt Edie is her name.
It couldn't go any lower.
She thinks this is
So it happened, you guys. Revenge P happened.
okay.
That was Kenya's choice to twirl on down to hell.
I don't think she came back out. Now I heard something about Charles.
She's talking about my husband. And then she was like, you know what? I should Charles.
If you don't take it on back with that 99 nose, don't do that.
Okay, Flavor.
Why did you guys even get a divorce?
He took almost $500,000.
Oh,
The frauding, the scamming. It makes you think how much of it was real.
I'm trying to make music so that I can buy a Rolls Royce because I heard
Let me just say it was real enough for her to want to still be in the $7 million house that's completely paid for. So whatever fraud and whatever scam they're alleging, it was real enough to secure the house that she's refusing to leave. And for her to keep on driving around in the car she feels like driving around in. Anyway.
George might be repo soon.
I just had an ectopic pregnancy. That was the scariest thing ever.
You got to watch the dog that brings the bone.
I would like to express the things that have hurt me in our friendship. You're yawning. Am I boring you?
They're just coming in with grenades. Woo! Lord have mercy.
Go down.
Yep.
And now you're blowing the booty.
Juicy.
Okay, I just wanted to show us that real fast. Now let's get back to April Ryan. Sorry about that. I don't know. I'm still not going to be watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that show. They haven't let Nene back on.
12:13 Eastern, and we just heard from the President of the United States, the 47th President of the United States. Many people were like, is April Ryan in the room? No, I was not in the room because I'm home with the flu. I tested positive after being in that room the other day. I will be wearing a mask. But like many of you who watched, I was shocked, but I reached out to a couple of people, and one of them I'm waiting for us to join. Hello, Major. Love you more, and I'm taking care of myself, but I'm waiting for the person who's supposed to come on. I think that's them now. The person who's supposed to come on. What you need to do is when you come on and see me, you press request to get on. This is a big conversation that we're getting ready to have. And meanwhile, let me see, I'm going back. Meanwhile, I talked to someone from the NAACP, the vice chair of the National Board of the NAACP, Karen Boykins-Town, says we need to stop agonizing. We need to start organizing. And she said, like the Forever First Lady said, do something. So to my guest, get off and come back on and press request. Yeah, feel better. I'm here. I'm sitting in a room in my house, sealed off from everyone. And I'm going to talk. Thank you, guys. We do pause for the moment for those who lost their lives. Those 67 people who lost their lives last night. We do pause. And it is, it's heartbreaking to hear, you know, from Virginia all the way up to Baltimore, many of the first responders came and helped. And we do pause. But when you pause, what happens? You see the blame being placed disproportionately in the wrong place. And it just wasn't right. Hold on, guys. My guest is coming on. I got to help him get on. He's a major person who speaks truth to power. And hold on, I'm on another device trying to get my guest on because we talked, and I've never heard them as solemn and calm as I heard just now. Hold on, guys. I'm getting my guest on. I'm gonna help them get on. Okay. This person worked for the late Shirley Chisholm, and this person also ran for president. This person is very well versed in issues of politics, diversity, and more. Hold on one second. I'm gonna call this person to make sure I can get them on again. Hold on. Stand by. Hold on. I'm gonna get them on. You'll hear who they are in a minute, and I'm gonna let them know that they're on. Hold on. 1 second. Hello, everyone. Hold on.
Hello, Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Chris, he didn't see the request.
Okay, no. You have to request. Go on ADR 1600. Get off for a minute. Go on with his. Okay, get off for 1 second. Get off IG. Now go back on.
Okay, what is it called?
It's ADR 1600. That's my IG. Mm-hmm. Do you see me? Go up in the circle up there where you'll see. Go to and you see a live circle, correct? You see something with a circle. Press that circle.
All right, we're gonna try to request it now.
Yes, that's it. Now bring him on.
Okay.
Thank you. Guys, this is a moment. We pause because this is sad. Whenever you lose anyone, you pause. But this kind of moment, when the deflection is on us, it's not good. Here we go. My guest is here. All right. I'm bringing him on. I press accept. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. There we go.
Just give us 1 second. He'll be on.
All right. As you see, we're going to have Reverend Al Sharpton of the National Action Network to discuss this moment. I've never heard Reverend Al so somber. This is a historic moment. Reverend Al, thank you for taking my call. To Reverend Al for joining. Reverend Al, this is a moment. What did you make of this press conference where it was supposed to be about the death of 67 people with an Army helicopter that is said by the president to be the cause, should not have been flying at the same height, etc. Then he went into a diatribe deflecting the blame on his administration, on the DOD and on the transportation secretary, but put it on the Obama administration, the Biden administration, and even said BS bullshit about former transportation secretary Pete Buttigieg. And then he said, because he has common sense, he understands that this was DEI, because he has common sense. And those who are there from DEI don't have the psychological capability to handle this. Sir, we are in a whole new space. What do you think about this in 2025? Reverend Al? Okay, I think Reverend Al is frozen. But we have Reverend Al. Hold on 1 second. Reverend Al is frozen. Hold on. Reverend Al? I see people saying he's sick. Hold on, we're going to go back to Reverend Al again because he's frozen. Hold on. Reverend Al, I've never seen Reverend Al so upset before like this and very concerned. Hold on, let's go back because he's frozen. As you see, Reverend Al is frozen. Oh, you don't see him anymore. I see him. He's frozen. So I'm going back to him. Hold on, guys. Reverend Al, come back on, okay?
We just sent the request again.
Okay, I'm here. Okay, bye-bye. Here we go. All right. Let me me see. Hold on. Reverend Al?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. What do you think about the deflection from taking responsibility for this by blaming it on DEI, saying that we are not psychologically able to handle these kinds of positions? What say you, sir?
I think that what we saw today was a very raw, insensitive, uncaring man that's obsessed with race and obsessed with the not taking any kind of leadership and responsibility for any occurrence under his presidency. Why do I say that? To say that you have 67 people that are being fished out of the bottom of the Potomac, their families mourning, their families heartbroken, and people in this country stunned. I don't know how many times you and I, April, have flown over that Potomac. And all of us should be in a unified prayer for these families.
Yes.
And a unified way of saying that we need to first comfort them and then find out what happened, including the pilots on both the helicopter and the plane. Instead of giving comfort and direction and solace, to get up and blame your predecessors, use profanity for the former Secretary of Transportation, and then try and act like these were DEI hires when we don't know how they were hired.
Exactly.
We haven't even identified the victims. But the assumption is that they were not qualified. They must be DEI. If anyone understands why we're saying DEI should not be used as a tool against blacks and against browns and against those that may have health disorders, which he mocked. He mocked people that have disabilities, and to do it within less than 24 hours of a tragedy.
It's not even. Is it 12 hours?
It's not even 12. You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
it shows a very callous disregard for human life and human decency. I always felt that Donald Trump, even when he tried to be friendly, I always thought he had some bigotry. But I did know he had lacked any level of decency. What he did today was indecent and despicable.
So in my black job as a black person, let's take out politics and humanity. I was, as a person, as a black woman, it hurt me, all right? A woman who's got a college degree, a woman who's the longest serving black White House correspondent in the history of this nation. It's not by happenstance that I've been there for 28 years. I have academic acumen and a psychological acumen. And to understand, and using that acumen for this president to talk about DEI, I'm wondering, and he didn't say it, but I'm wondering, he gets a lot of intelligence, Reverend Al. I'm wondering if he knew or knows who the pilot was for the military, etc. You know, what race or color. It just makes me wonder. There's a lot of things that underlie there for me in that press conference, and that were just very overt. There, and then Pete Buttigieg is now saying, he said, first word on, he said something on Twitter, despicable, as families grieve, Trump should be leading, not lying. We put safety first, drove down close calls, route air traffic control, and had 0 commercial airline crash fatalities out of millions of flights on our watch. That's from Pete Buttigieg on Twitter. He went after DEI, that is black, brown, LGBTQI.
That's why he said what he said about Pete Buttigieg, because that's to take a shot at LGBTQ. That's why he clearly tried to deal with the inference that it might have been some DEI, some people diverse. And what he didn't even consider, why I say he's so insensitive, is he doesn't even know the political affiliations of those that died. Suppose if some MAGA people was on that plane. I mean, you don't have empathy for them. We know that there was some from Russia there. I mean, it is just absolutely godless what he did in front of the whole country.
And the world, because U.S. figure skating, these kids were going to go to the Olympics.
Right.
The U.S. Figure Skating Federation. But listen, I talked to the former Transportation Secretary, Anthony Fox, last night, who happens to be a black man,
right,
who was the head of the Obama Transportation Department. And he said to me, in this, he said, my worst fear is that something happened with the avionics. I hope and expect that this is not the case, but most aircraft these days run on a form of GPS. Could a warning system have failed? But then, how can two systems fail? That leads to some even more grave concerns about interference with the systems. There are many other potential causes. This is a black man who was the head of the Department of Transportation in the Obama administration.
Absolutely.
Answers and not laying blame. And
the answers, Anthony Fox attitude is right. I mean, you know, we engage National Action Network right now dealing with DEI and protesting those companies out of that. But I didn't even bring that up. I'm saying that we need to find out what happened. I'm responding to Trump bringing up DEI. Yeah. We need to be concerned about the lives that were lost, the families that's got to deal with that, and then the causes of this. But to go right into politics, attacking Biden, attacking Buttigieg, attacking Obama, and staying right there several times, and then attacking DEI shows a callous disregard for the human life of those people that died in this crash. And I think that it shows people around this country that we're dealing with a president that has no humanity about it.
And I'm so glad that David Sanger asked that question. White man, right. New York Times, asked the question about DEI. And a lot of people didn't. There were so many different things in there. But the question, nobody really asked about the firings that happened. I wish I didn't have the flu. Right. I have the flu, tested positive after being in that room. But I would have asked, you know, did you not fire people prior to this situation? Did you not fire people in TSA? Did you not fire people in FAA? You know, I'm concerned right now. If this is in the first 10 days, what should we expect in the next 4 years?
I don't know what is reasonable to expect with somebody this callous. So all I can say is that we must buckle down. And, you know, the book of Ephesians say, put on the whole armor of God. We're going to need it because this guy is the breastplate of righteousness. Because this guy is beyond what we can predict. But what we can predict, that if we stand up and fight back as our parents and grandparents did, let's not act like we're in the political process by invitation, where they are because of people that fought. We just got to be ready to fight no matter what he does. We have to be more determined to be right as he is to be wrong.
So, Reverend Al, some of the things that people have told me, and I agree, you have to be quiet because we talk too much. But that fight, what does that fight look like? And when you fight, how do you get the message out without tipping off the other side?
Think you tip off when we decide which targets we're going to hit in terms of economic boycott, with legislation they're going to do. We come out with it when we're ready, and you don't give the whole plan. And I think that people that have never marched with me or never rallied with others can withdraw their dollars when we've done the proper research. Because we can't call a boycott and lose. We got to make sure that it's a company that we can hurt with our consumer dollars that has a large percentage and a small margin of profit. That's why I announced on King Day, we're taking 90 days. And we're going to come up and announce that, and we're going to go. We have strategies on how we're going at them companies that we won't announce till we're already there. I grew up in Operation Bread Basket. I was youth director in New York under Jesse Jackson. So we know how to do this.
Wait a minute. And worked with Shirley Chisholm as a young man.
And worked with Shirley Chisholm. I was 17 years old. I was a youth director. So we know how to do that. And there are those in the legal community, the Legal Defense Fund and others are doing that. We all need to do what we do. rather than saying, I don't agree with this. Whatever you agree with, we need to do it, but we need to do it, not talk about it, because we're dealing with a vicious adversary.
Reverend Al, while I got you on this IG that was spontaneous, and I thank you again, you know you got my heart. I want to let some of the listeners or those who are watching ask a couple of questions, because this is a moment, you know, I heard about what George Wallace did. I didn't see it, you know, but we're back in that era, it looks like. You know, we're not celebrating, we're celebrating, it was February 1 is Black History Month, but it's now termed American History Month by some. You know, it's Black History.
You've seen the assault, and I got to do my radio show, but we've seen the assault that Hexit says the first day, that we got to look at how we have events here at the Pentagon around King Day, around Black History Month, around, LGBTQ Pride Month. They're starting already. Their guy DeSantis wants to take Black history out of school. They want to erase telling the story so we won't know how to fight.
Yeah, they sure do. Well, at the end of the day, I do want to say this. I cannot negate the fact that I'm a Black woman and I'm a Black business owner. And I am more so inclined to circulate my dollars in the Black community. Yeah. And because of that, I've been holding this Black business in my name, and I'm going to announce it here with you. Because of this, excuse me, this boycott thing, or not boycott, but I'm calling it Buy Black. Excuse me. I'm having Ronald Isley on Monday with his song Fight the Power, and also his liquor. Excuse me, his liquor, so we can talk about that. So see what I got from the White House, and they talking about DEI was smart enough to stay home.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's keep it going.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Be well.
Thank you. Love you. Be
Love
well.
you.
Be well.
Thank you. Be well.
Okay, so that was April Ryan and Al Sharpton. And let's see, can I share this? Okay, let me see. Representative Jasmine Green is live about this right now. Let's take a listen to what she's saying.
To everyone that has been impacted by this terrible tragedy. As a member of Congress who absolutely hates the idea of flying into IAD, I fly into DCA all the time. Also, as a member of Congress who potentially has more aviation in my district than any other district, there may be somebody, but at the end of the day, I have a ton of aviation. Dallas Love Field is based in my district. Southwest Airlines is based in my district. JSX Airlines is based in my district. I also have approximately another 4 airports, in addition to the fact that Airbus has a facility in my district. And if y'all know anything about Airbus, they build helicopters as well as airplanes. So while I have not served on the transportation committee, being that I represent this much aviation, I have learned more about aviation than I ever thought I would know. So I want to level set and make sure that y'all understand what it is that people do and how difficult it is for us to keep y'all safe and how I am constantly on edge. So I want to take you back, number one, and explain to you that we went through FAA reauthorization here recently. FAA goes through a reauthorization once every 5 years. And so we did it just last year. I think it was last year. My years are all mixed up, but definitely last term. I can vividly recall that there was an amendment that was put on the floor in the House. And this amendment was about making sure that there could be additional gates given to DCA. I voted this amendment down. And I voted this amendment down, and this isn't one of the big things that many people pay attention to, but it matters. I voted this amendment down because I am in constant communication with the air traffic controllers, and because I do serve on oversight, and My previous subcommittee post was for government operations. That means that all government employees, all their agencies, we oversee all of that on oversight anyway. And so in talking to air traffic controllers, they have been down approximately 30%. So I have been trying to come up with legislation where we could be creative so that we could do more recruiting overall for our air traffic controllers. That is because I literally have been in what I call the dark room. I have seen how intense this is. Honestly, it is scary to watch, and these people are heroes every day, and they are unsung heroes because there are not tragedies like this that take place, and so people take them for granted. I think this election is making it clear that we have taken it for granted that people like boring Biden or joyful Kamala would absolutely keep things just kind of level set and boring. And honestly, I would give anything for boring right now and responsibility. But let me tell you that when we go through things and we talk about how we're going to recruit the best, it is hard to recruit the best when every other day you are cutting resources and you are making it difficult for people to do their jobs. And you are talking about how you want to cut down on the amount of people that we have. I don't know who all has been offered buyouts. There are rumors about who all Trump is trying to buy out of various positions, but I can tell you that we have not been to 100% anyway as it relates to air traffic control. And I don't want anyone to mistake this for me saying that this was an air traffic control issue, because I am not the type to jump the gun, but I will say that I have been concerned about that. And it is why we have to make sure that we don't buy into this idea that the government and the government employees are just disposable, because they are not. They keep us safe. Whether we're talking about the FDA or whether we're talking about the CDC or whether we're talking about air traffic control, these people keep our lives boring and safe. And for whatever reason, to have someone be elected to the highest office in the world and have the audacity before any information come out, and no matter what the investigation determines, to say that DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion is the reason for this terrible tragedy. Let me tell you who's not unqualified, or who's unqualified to serve. It's him. You are absolutely wholly unqualified to serve as the president of the United States, because you decided to take this moment and not think constructively, not offer comfort, not talk about your commitment to making sure that the American people will be safe as they travel this country. But instead, you decided to say that somehow people's skin color or their sex somehow is what contributed to this. And I will go down and say, no matter what comes out of this investigation, I can assure you that it wasn't diversity, equity, and inclusion that caused this disaster, just like it didn't cause anything that happened in California. We have to stand up for right versus wrong, y'all. Because at the end of the day, no matter how somebody got admitted, no matter what happened, at the end of the day, you have to be certified to do any of this. You can't just jump in a plane and start to pilot the plane because you happen to be Black, or because you happen to be a woman, or because you happen to be a veteran, or because you happen to be someone who is what I call uniquely abled. That is diversity, equity, and inclusion. You don't just get to do it. You have to actually pass certifications. We don't lower the standards for you to be certified to fly. We don't lower the standards for what it is to be able to serve in the military. We don't do that. That's not what it is, because we want to make sure that people are safe. So stop falling for the nonsense and the bullshit. At the end of the day, we need somebody who understands the very basics. And let me tell you, I'm going to read this off and then I'm going to get off of this. And actually, I'm going to do my best to try to see if I can catch some of y'all's questions. So hold your questions for like 2 seconds. And then I will see if I can answer any of them, because I do want you to understand, because I am scared that we are going to head to another government shutdown here in a second. And I say another because the last time we had a government shutdown, he was the president. March 14th is the deadline. And as I understand it, it doesn't seem like they know how to do anything right. I mean, y'all saw that the Medicare website went down. Y'all saw that they ended up getting rid of their crazy memo from OMB only a day later after the courts had to go in on them. I mean, y'all see this. I can't find what I was looking for because I wanted to make sure that I spoke with specificity about some of the things that Trump did, because I don't like
Yeah, they all benefit, mademoiselle.
out the side of my neck. I like to make sure that with accuracy, but I know for sure that right before this, Trump fired the TSA administrator. I know that he also fired, who else did he fire? He fired a number of people. And it was all about keeping us safe as it relates to aviation. I can't find the article that I was looking for, so my apologies. So instead, I will go into quick questions if you have them. So go ahead and type your questions, and I'm going to try my best to answer. But as you are typing your questions, one of the reasons that we have to be careful about government shutdowns is that when you shut down, if we have people that are going through air traffic control training, then their training has to stop. And basically, they have to start all the way over. When you're training for something like to become an air traffic controller, it is more so, okay, Jeffrey, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hold this down. When you're training for air traffic controller, the way that I describe it is it's like training for a marathon, right? So you have to build up your stamina. These folk literally sit there in this dark room. It looks like an old school, Atari game or something like that. And there's it's a black screen with these little dots and they're moving fast. And you got to communicate with everybody and you got to keep them off of each other. And then you also have those that are in the tower so that they can look and see physically what is happening. But it takes a long time to actually become an air traffic controller. And it really is disruptive when they're talking about shutting down the government. And when they consistently talk about shutting down the government, I don't know why people want to come and work for the federal government. And when they're consistently beating down workers and talking about how they're lazy and all this other kind of stuff, I don't know who wants to work for us. So, I mean, I just need people to think about that. And I need you to call your elected officials, even if they are of a different ideology than you, because we work for you regardless. And you need to tell them how irresponsible it is to shut the government down, because honestly, I think that's the next thing that's coming. I also think it's irresponsible for people to just sit by idly. Oh, he got rid of the advisory board, the safety advisory board. That is exactly right. He got rid of them too. That was one of the ones that I wanted to mention. So this guy is constantly not really caring about us and our safety. That's the main point. All right. So Jeffrey asks, why is nobody reporting this with his layoffs or the fact that his statement has no backing? I mean, I'm trying, but I'm not the news. I'm just a member of Congress. And so I'm doing my best to communicate. And so, yes, thank you for helping me. DS Litz. It was TSA, the Coast Guard, and the head of FAA. That was the one that I was missing. The head of FAA. He fired them on Tuesday. I'm just saying. How are you going to change the 300 Constitution without changing the entire article? Okay, you can't. We'll see if the Supreme Court decides to follow the law. The strongest protections that we have is the Constitution in and of itself. So you're absolutely right. You can't just with the swipe of a pen as the President of the United States undo the Constitution, nor can you with the swipe of a pen just decide that you are going to overturn laws, which when we go through appropriations, they get signed into law. It violates separation of powers. It also violates the fact that Congress has the power of the purse. Y'all need to start registering to vote and getting family and friends. Yes. My question, what the fuck? I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, but here's the deal. All is not lost. Like, unfortunately, I think people are really starting to learn in real time the importance of government. But I need people to start understanding the importance of having serious lawmakers, and that is serious lawmakers, whether they identify as Democrats, Republicans, or independents. You need to make sure that whoever you're voting for is serious about getting the work done. Our only jobs should really be focusing in on legislation that will better everyone's lives. And frankly, all of this racist rhetoric is not helping anybody. I can tell you that it doesn't bring comfort to anyone who lost their life yesterday to hear the president somehow blame all of this on race. Yes, we don't have time to wait for the midterms. What can we do to help stop this insanity? We will have some special elections that are going to take place. I think that you all need to get engaged in special elections, as well as some, depending on where you are, you're going to have some city elections. We need to understand that every lever of government matters. We saw that our Democratic attorney generals and our Democratic governors came out, and I believe that there was at least, the Republican governor of Louisiana came out when he tried to stop all federal funding. And honestly, the Republican governor should have been the very first ones to come out, because the vast majority of Republican states need those funds more than anybody else. I can't say that that's the case for Texas. We technically are consistently running at a surplus. I will say that for Texas, because I like to be honest and an honest broker. But that is very true. It should have been them on the front lines really fighting for this, because this shouldn't be politics. This is just basics. This is basics of survival. You have people that are paying their federal land into the system every single day. And when they need those monies to be returned to their communities in productive ways, they need those monies to come on back down. And so, no, it doesn't make sense. And to be clear, for anyone that believes that Trump is somehow this fiscal responsible conservative, go check the record, y'all. He filed bankruptcy, I think, 6 times. It could be 7, but 6, I believe. He has a history of not paying people when he's supposed to pay them. In addition to that, when you look at who ran up the debt the most in one 4-year term, it was Trump. $8 trillion on his watch. So I'm sorry, but I don't think that you can set everything on fire and then claim to be the fireman. That's just my opinion. Let me try to find one more question, and then I'm going to jump off, because I just wanted to jump on really quickly, but clearly I need to fully wake up. I am not answering that question. Let's see. Okay. Well, y'all don't have any more questions except for this one about when am I running for president? The answer is that I'm not. This is a good one. I don't know that we have any alternatives as it relates to making sure that we're going to be safe as it relates to the bird flu. So, most people are just saying you can't trust the chicken right now. And that breaks my heart because obviously we want to make sure that those that are working on the farms are going to be able to stay in business. So they need business, but this is why government matters. We are the ones that are supposed to be the overseers and make sure that the food supply is safe. And we know that the cost of eggs have continuously been going up, partially because of the bird flu that's going around. And so it is scary. I'm just going to say, use your good common sense on this one. Unfortunately, I have never wanted people to be so distrustful of the government, but when you have someone that literally does not want you to be informed about whether or not, say, there's a deadly disease that's going around, whether or not our food is safe or not, it is a very scary time. I am hoping that the Senate finds their backbone. I am hoping that they decide that they won't vote really for anything or for any confirmations until, number one, he brings himself together to understand that monies that have already been laid out, he can't touch them no matter what kind of tricks he tries to pull around the judiciary and that kind of stuff. Just get him to calm down on that part. Going forward, I don't know what our budgets will look like, but this is when he can have some input in our budgets that are upcoming. That's number one. Number two, I honestly think that they need to stop pledging their fealty and their loyalty to him and remember who elected them. And I'm sorry, but these people are not qualified. We're not even gonna get on the guy that had to have the vice president break the tie to get him in. I think that they need to absolutely turn down RFK. He is a danger to us. I absolutely believe that we will have more people die because this guy is Looney Tunes. I mean, he talked about having worms on the brain. I mean, and they want to act like just because you're a person of color, you somehow are unqualified. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Right? So for sure, I say use your common sense and use a bit of caution right now as it relates to things like our food supply, because he's definitely trying to hide any harms that may exist as it relates to our food, as well as it relates to any diseases. I appreciate all of you so very much. Please keep the faith. The power lies with you. Don't let anyone take your power away. Your power lies in your vote. Your power lies in your voices. Make sure that every single election you are flexing your power. We cannot give up. We need the biggest numbers that we've ever had when it comes to these city council races, when it comes to these county races, when it comes to these state races, and absolutely when it comes to these federal races. I need you looking at your voter registration now and making sure that you are registered. I need you to make sure that you don't allow these people to divide us. Divided we fall, united we stand. It is time for us to stand together. I love and appreciate all of you. Please stay safe and know that you have people like me that take my job very seriously because I don't get paid enough. I don't do this for the money. I'm just being honest. I do this because I believe that we need people that really, really care about the work. So God bless you all.
Okay, you guys, that was Representative Jasmine, and we know her because she called that racist lady a butch built bad body bitch or something she had put on t-shirts, and the money went to the DNC, who didn't let anybody else go on the ticket and usurped democracy in order to either have Biden or Kamala on the ticket, which is what got us 45 is 47. So, but now we're here. That's what happened. Now we're here. And we're only like, what, a week in and 10 days in. He's been in there for 10 days. And in 10 days, we are already having this run amok. Now, let me see. Let me make this big. I have something else to show you guys. I'm going to go here to messages. I'm going to go here. Okay, so there's a couple of things. So that was her response. Because after this happened, an American airline passenger jet collided midair with a Blackhawk helicopter. Now, I remember Blackhawk helicopters being for the military. So these are trained military professionals ramming helicopters into passenger planes full of regular schmegular people. Okay? And this is after, so the planes are crashing in the air. And there hasn't been a crash in that airspace in a very long time. And it crashed into Potomac River, Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm so glad Karen wasn't driving. Is it too soon? I'm sorry. And sorry, not sorry. In a decade, Kotor Bay. Thanks for coming through, Kotor. In a decade, there hasn't been any crashes in that area in a decade with their DEI hires and previous bosses. So just last week, one of his week one things to do, because he's only been there for 10 days, there's 7 days in a week. So last week, this smart guy, super smart, he fired, you're fired. He acted like he was in the apprentice office, and he fired the head of transportation security, TSA, fired the Coast Guard, and disbanded Aviation Security Advisor Committee. And now we're having crashes for the first time in a decade? Really, bruh? But then he opened his orange mouth and blamed Biden and DEI. He gutted Aviation Safety Advisory Committee just last Tuesday, you guys. Eliminating the misuse of resources and ensuring the DHS would prioritize national security. The Aviation Committee, which was mandated by Congress after the 1988 Pan Am 103 bombing, technically continue to exist, but it won't have any more members to carry out examining safety issues at airlines and airports. So he doesn't think that him getting rid of that has anything to do with trained military personnel ramming their Blackhawks into planes that you can clearly see. Like, we're going to look at the image real quick. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is what he said.
Are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power. You have to go by psychological.
Right. How are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power. You have to go by psychological quality. And psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden. And Biden went by a standard that's the exact opposite.
He's such a fucking liar. He just fired the people last week. And now he already implemented a new standard by the guy that he hired from reality TV to take over the freaking the TSA. Really? Really? He's such a fucking liar.
With the names of the people, you mean the names of the people that are on the plane? You think that's going to make a difference? They are a group of people that have lost their lives. If you want a list of the names, we can give you that. We'll be giving that very soon. We're in coordination with American Airlines. We're in coordination very strongly, obviously, with the military. But I think that's not a very smart question. I'm surprised coming from you.
Yeah,
please. Go ahead.
Thank you. We see like everyday life that's very often those diversity hires cause sometimes issues, as you just mentioned. So what plan do you have? Are we going to see some fire? Are you going to fire some of those diversity hires in the federal government? What plan do you have?
I would say the answer is yes. If we find that people aren't mentally competent, you see the language. The language is put out by them. And if you see that, I'm not going to bore you by reading it again, but these are not people that should be doing this particular job. They'd be very good for certain jobs, but not people that should be doing this particular job.
Today, blamed the diversity elements, but then told us that you weren't sure that the controllers made any mistake. And then said perhaps the helicopter pilots were the ones who made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level. When you have 60 planes coming in during a short period of time, and they're all coming in different directions, and you're dealing with very high-level computer work and very complex computers. And one of the other things I will tell you is that the systems that were built, I was going to rebuild the entire system, and then we had an election that didn't turn out the way it should have.
Are you saying
he's
this
crazy?
crash was somehow...
He's crazy, you guys. So, yeah, there hasn't been an investigation, but he knows it's because of DEI, because he's the smartest person in the room. And you know what they say about when you think you're the smartest person in the room? And he fired everybody that had anything to do with safety or even searching for the bodies. They can't even recover the bodies because he also fired the Coast Guard people, you guys. But he's so smart. Shout out to 45. Right on. This is what they want. I'm telling you, this is what they want. Now, this lady had a good point, and then we're going to be out of here.
By design. Step 1. Demoralize. Undermine trust in institutions, education, and culture. Step 2. Destabilize. Undermine the economy and create unrest. Step 3. Crisis. Push society to the edge of political and social chaos. Step 4. Normalization. Make dysfunction and division the new normal. Sound familiar? These are the 4 stages of ideological subversion. I talk about it in depth on my Substack. President Trump's second term began with what they promised: shock and awe. Steve Bannon called this era Days of Thunder. And here we are in 2025 with chaos that is by design. And then there's Durkheim's enemy. What happens when shared values break down? People become disconnected, disoriented, and vulnerable to manipulation. Together, they explain why everything feels so broken. That's on purpose. U.S. propaganda is going to weaponize these feelings. When every conversation is framed as the ultimate battle between good versus evil, what you end up with is a country that is divided and disconnected. A country where common ground feels impossible. Now we're entering normalization. Chaos feels inevitable. Division feels permanent. And people shrug at what would have shocked us just a few months ago. Y'all are subscribing so fast I can't record because of the notifications. Thank you. Break this cycle, we need to do a few things. The first is demand accountability from media outlets. Do the best we can to enact policies that rebuild trust in institutions. And maybe most, the chaos you feel is by design.
So she had a great point. It's by design. That's what I said. When I saw the thing this morning, I was like, how did you not see a big ass plane? This is on purpose. This is by design. You fire all the people that work at the place. You put somebody that knows nothing about the job in there. You take away the people that can recover the bodies on Tuesday, on Friday, on Thursday, 2 days later, 48 hours later, you have a crash. It's by design. It must be by design, because why did you fire on Tuesday and now Thursday this is happening, and you're the one that just said you're playing chess, fool. So you plan for this to happen on your chessboard. Some old Game of Thrones shit. They're sitting around the big round table and the fire witch is coming over to tell them how to freaking, if you worship the fire, then you can have everything. Damn it. This is what y'all get. This is what you get. This is what happens. This is what happens. But I'm going to finish it off with Less Dog. I don't know what they'll do to the freaking this video when I do show this, but I think that it's worth seeing just a little bit, since they're trying to rewrite the whitewashed history already. Before they finish their job, let's just look at this little historical thing about old Elon Musk's favorite salute. Elon Musk's favorite saluter right here. They said he was saying it was from his heart. So I shouldn't be able to get in any trouble. They said that wasn't this, so this isn't this. But did you guys know in 1923 Adolf Hitler incited an insurrection against the German government? Does that sound like January 6th? Oh my God. And he was tried. Hitler was tried and given a slap on the wrist, and he became a convicted felon. Yet despite being treated charitably by the judge, Hitler claimed the trial was political persecution and successfully portrayed himself as a victim of corrupt social democrats. Does that sound like he stole a page from the Housewife Playbook? Does that sound like 45 stole a page from the Housewife Playbook, the Housewives of Hitler Playbook? It totally does. We just lived this 4 years ago, you guys. And then, look, it doesn't stop there with this glaring similarity. Hitler cleverly positioned himself as the voice of the common man. Sound familiar? Sound like 45? It does, huh? Railing against the elites, which he was one of, cultural degeneracy in the establishment, who he all labeled as Marxists. he claimed the education system was indoctrinating children to hate Germany and promised a return to Germany's greatness. Did you guys know that? Does it sound very familiar, though? Sounds very familiar. I thought we were in America, not Germany. Why is German history repeating itself in America, unless they've been here all along among us? I don't know. My kids play that game Among Us, and you don't know who has the shank, stab, stab until you get it in Among Us. To solidify, oh look, he's doing his Elon Musk. He's doing the Elon Musk, giving the people his heart. Look, it looks just like what Elon Musk did twice 10 days ago when he was like this. He did that. And they said, I'm just giving you my heart. They said that. No, I thought it looked like a sig heil. I was very offended by it. But they said, this is okay. It's okay when Elon does it. So nothing to see here. My mind is wrong for thinking that it looked a lot like this sig heil. To solidify his base, Hitler masterfully scapegoated minorities. Oh my God. For the nation's problems, really? Exploiting societal divisions with a us versus them narrative, really? So it's Americans against the immigrants and the birthright snatchers? Forget that all the Europeans that got to come over here after Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, indigenous Americans built this shit. They refused to let us just have citizenship. Like that's something for them to give. I don't know how colonizers are the ones that get to give you some shit you already have. If I'm an indigenous person, I don't need your citizenship, bitch. I'm indigenous to these lands. By right, this shit is mine. Your colonizer ass is who needs to be a citizen on my land that you stole. So you see how all this fuckery, but they think they're playing chess. No, you're just playing dirty. That's some dirty ass shit. But when you convince enough people about the bullshit, you get a whole lot of people telling me that I'm fucking wrong with the thoughts coming out of my head, which is just allegedly for entertainment purposes. Fuck that. I need to be a birthright something where the fuck I was when you got here. Fucking Mayflower came over here to my fucking house. We fed you, we clothed you, we helped you. And now, 500 years later, you're going to take back the one thing that you think you gave us when you colonized some shit? Your citizenship is a trap anyway. The Europeans, they let, after we built this shit, do your history. That's another reason why they need it rewashed again, is because it's apparent that everything we use it in 2025 is because of a Black fucking great mind. Pick something up. A remote control, Black. Cell phone technology, Black. The light filament, Black. Your telephone, Black. The traffic lights, Black. Potato chips, Black. Peanut butter, Black. Doorknobs, Black. Your refrigerator, Black. Black, 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 Black. Made all that shit. You guys are using all that shit. Where's our fucking thank you? DEIs minds aren't equipped for this shit. We built this shit. Using everything at the White House was built by Black people, bitch. It's good enough for you to live in. It's good enough for you to live in. But my mind, the minds of my ancestors weren't good enough to create that shit? Is that what you're trying to tell me now? I'm live, Zyreed. Go out. Yeah. Mama's hot right now. So we get Elon getting to do this on American soil, his whole sig heil. And then we get 45. Wait, I think orange should be a DEI consideration. If your color is orange, you're part of the DEI crew. How about that shit? So he's really talking about himself. He's a projection whore. allegedly. Okay? So Hitler, to solidify his base, he masterfully scapegoated us against them. And many Germans took the bait, just like many white Christian nationalists here in America are taking the bait, right? Hitler's Nazi party continued to gain traction until he became chancellor in 1933. Hitler appointed German oligarchs, oh my God, as his economic advisors. He proceeded to privatize government utilities, solidifying support of the economic elite. With the working class divided along cultural and ethnic lines, the Nazis shut down workers' unions. Oh my God, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk want all the fucking unions closed down, and their oligarchs, and they're with 45. Oh my God, history is literally repeating itself. But DEI. Okay. Progressives and trade unionists were imprisoned and sent to concentration camps. But remember, the first concentration camp happened in Africa because those Dutch people went over and did the very first concentration camp in Africa. But nobody wants to talk about that. You can only never forget the one that this dude did, but we can still get a sig heil from Elon. What? I don't understand the fucking thinking of the colonized mind. Corporate profits skyrocketed while working class Germans lived paycheck to paycheck. Sounds very familiar. Oh my God. He wants everybody to go back to their office when gas $7 a gallon, your milk $7 a gallon, and eggs are $7 a dozen. But he wants you to go back to your $15 an hour paying job and drive there for 2 hours in traffic, sit there for 8 hours, and then drive your ass home in 2 hours in traffic for the $5 that you just got paid that is heavily taxed, that he just took away all the federal aid. So all the money that you paid into the federal government in good faith, because they're supposed to be helping us out when we need it, all that money that got paid in, he's just going to keep. So fuck that we did our part. We followed the rule. We upheld our social contract with the government by paying into a system with federal taxes so that we could have the use of those dollars later as a freaking constituent base. He has no right to hold up our pennies. It's against the law. But we already know he's above the law, like his best friend over here, Hitler. That's exactly his playbook, is Hitler. Listen, after he appointed the German oligarchs, he continued to become a millionaire. Because remember, before 45 got in office the last time, he didn't give us no tax documents that proved he's a millionaire. Nothing on paper says that man is a millionaire. Now, he says he's a millionaire, but nothing on paper says he's a millionaire. Like if you were to go get a house, you need shit on paper to show your financial standing. There is nothing for him, but he's still where he is. And he's a billionaire while he's in office. And him and his clan of oligarchs, just like Hitler's clan, the oligarchs, could get away with the scam, right? They constantly did the enemy within blame, and the corporosity robbed the country blind. They robbed the country blind. And then this is at his easy targets, one of the smallest minorities. Hitler removed birthright citizenship of the Jews and started rounding them up for mass deportations for being illegally in the country. And then the German press, under Nazi rule, highlighted instances of violence by the Jews to convince the public that the Jewish immigrants were really the danger, and that's why everything was happening to them. Sound familiar? I mean, can he have an original fucking thought? He's a copycat. He's a fucking copycat at this point. Crazy. Hitler wasted no time dismantling the democratic institutions. Loyalty wasn't just encouraged, it was demanded. Opponents were silenced. Media that dared to question him were vilified as the enemy and Marxists. Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goggleboils, bragged about how the Nazis were able to intimidate the media into giving them favorable coverage and didn't need to give the direct orders. They just intimidated them. Now, the Nazi regime and its followers collected all the books they saw promoting degeneracy. Oh my God. So Florida started this shit. Ron DeSantis is a freaking Hitler in training, huh? He's a Hitler in training because he's been burning books over there for like 4 years now. Ever since 45 was 45, he's been burning books in Florida that he considers degeneracy, that accurately depict American history. Yeah, with the colonizers and the savage ruffians that they are depicted as rightfully so. Those books have to get banned because it might make the next colonizers offseed be like, well, grandma, why did you do that to those black people? And so then grandma had to feel bad about it, and we can't have that. No. We only need minorities feeling bad about everything. Minorities. Yep. So degeneracy, that would be considered woke today, by the way. And burn them into large bonfires. They also burned books that promoted class consciousness. Now, the whole thing with me in this whole woke thing, like, let me just tell you, I mean, if ever a white person got a hold of a word and just fucked it up. Remember back in the day, we'd be like, oh, that's fresh, that's fly, that's whack, that's whatever it was. And then you'd hear, a Becky or a Bobby say the word, and they would use it in the very wrong place and not even with the right amount of oof or whatever, but they were trying to use a word that they had heard us use, and they were trying to be cool, and they would insert the wrong word here. That's what this is. Just like fucking colonizers, they colonized the word woke and fucked it up. Woke does have zero to do with what the fuck they've been saying it has to do with. But just like fake news and alternative facts, you say it loud enough and long enough, and the stupid people in front and back will believe it's the truth. But the people who originated the word woke and the definition here in the urban dictionary and the urban lifestyle and the woke culture, that's not the meaning of it. But they just took it and they bastardize it and they just throw it out every woke. They so woke. They may as well have a freaking 1970 perm and like Bob Ross, and they walking around woke. And they just really feel like they're in the lingo. Oh, we're using the lingo now. Woke. It doesn't even mean that shit. They're stupid. They sound retarded. I'm sorry I had to use that word. I know it's not appropriate, but it shows a mental deficiency on their part to think that the word woke means what they are trying to make it mean, when it doesn't mean anything like that. But because they're so square, L7, and they are the furthest thing from woke ever, they are not the cool kids. They're the square kids at the table with the stinky guy who drools a little when he eats. That's what the fuck is happening. That table over there is saying woke the wrong way. Also, did you know that Berlin had a thriving LGBTQ community in the 1920s and even had its first transgender clinic? Really? The Nazis burned it to the ground. LGBTQ people were sent to concentration camps and first to wear triangle badges. Many were killed in the Holocaust. Did you know that? Did you know that? The Nazis also saw manhood as under threat because independent women didn't rely on men. And in 1934, Hitler proclaimed that a woman's world is her husband, her family, and her children and her house. Housewives much? Laws that had protected women's rights were repealed, and new laws were introduced to handmaid tales those bitches, okay? To restrict women to the home and their roles as wives and mothers. Reproductive rights were severely rolled back, and doctors who performed abortions could face the death penalty. I mean, play by play. Despite all of this, the German people didn't have a similar historical parallel to look upon as a warning. Most Germans never acted like the sky was falling. Most just went along with their lives as usual until many of their lives were snuffed out. By the time Hitler's reign was forced to an end by Allied powers, 11 million people had been murdered in the Holocaust, and 70 to 85 million were killed in World War II. So it's like history's repeating itself. Nobody's paying attention except for the woke people in the back, and you know they can't stand us. They cannot stand a woke bitch. It's crazy. It's crazy, you guys. I wanted to bring this up here because I woke up to the picture of that plane not diverting. It did not divert. Here, I'm going to show us that real quick, and then we'll be out of here. Oh, they're saying nobody saw it coming? What the fuck? Here, let me send this. I don't believe it. This looks like an AI lady. I don't even want to play her. She looks like she's fucking lying. Here we go. I'm going to send this to us real quick. It's going to pop up in a minute. Here it is. Put this here. Share one more time. Okay. Pilot explains his theory on what caused the Potomac. May have been watching out for a departing plane and completely missed the one that was landing. But to my eyes, it looked like, I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look. So the little light with the red is the helicopter. The landing flight that they crashed into, that it looks like it had to be right in front of your ass. There's usually two pilots, and if both their pilots' eyes are on this plane, nobody saw this big ass thing right in front of you? Okay, bruh. Yeah, I don't believe it. And then this plane didn't maneuver. They released tapes too of the people talking all to them. And saying, do you see it? Do you see it? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? It was just bizarre, the whole thing. But maybe it's all new hires. Maybe that reality star dude that Trump hired last week or Tuesday, maybe that's the guy who's in charge. Yeah, this looks like some kind of AI deepfake. I'm not even playing that shit. Anyway, you guys, there's enough to go around. Make sure you go get some. Regardless of what is happening at 1200 Pennsylvania, you're magnificent. You're beautiful. You're chosen. You're selected to be here in this time-space continuum to do only what you can do. So I'm going to need you to realize that. Go out and get some because there's enough to go around. And hey, make it a great day because who knows how many fucking great days we got left with old boy being belligerent. I got a lot of great days left. Okay. Anyway, thanks for coming through. Oh, look, it says if Falana was here, Carrie was here, Mademoiselle. Thanks for playing, you guys. Yes, Black Americans are responsible for everything. Kotor Bay was here. I appreciate you all for coming through. Smash the buttons, ring the bells, share this and I'll see you guys later. We got to come back and talk about Bryn. Bryn, I hate when people are so pretty and I had so much hope for them and then they just end up like gum on my shoe. I'm like, oh, how'd you get there? You know? Anyway, and Uba remained class and grace. And you guys know that Bryn did an article with, what was it, Vibe magazine, or she did some kind of article where she doubled down on everything she did in Real Housewives of New York. And I hope you guys had time to check out Uba Hassan's thoughts in her Glamour article, where she doesn't need to double down on shit. She continues to be the bright excellence that she is. And I really hope you guys get to go check that article out. Yep, it seems like he might be in the bed with his best friend Putin. Didn't him and Putin have a freaking bromance last time? It's like, I want to hold your balls. No, I want to hold your balls. and all their balls are hitting the water. I'm telling you, if we do my balls hitting the water thing, then we wouldn't even be dealing with this. If your balls touch the water, you can't hold public office, period. 45 couldn't be there. Musk couldn't be there. None of this shit would be happening if we got some balls that didn't touch the water. Some new thoughts. Anyway, leave it in the comments. See you guys in the next video. Peace.